so they don't want to. Yeah, absolutely. Close to the chair. Good morning, everyone. Is everyone all set? Thank you. We will handle all issues associated with what we're announcing here at the podium, and then off topics will be taken to the side afterwards. So good afternoon and welcome to the Erie County Rath Building as we make an important announcement in regards to assistance for homeowners as well as families that are renters, for those that are potentially at risk for eviction eventually or foreclosure of their home for failure to be able to pay their rent or their mortgage payment due to lost income as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are joined here by a number of individuals today. You will hear from, of course, we're joined by Mayor Byron Brown of the City of Buffalo. Him and his team have been instrumental in helping us get this program off the ground, as well as Erie County Clerk Mickey Kearns, our chairwoman of the Erie County Legislature, April Baskin, who's been a strong advocate for this type of assistance. We will also hear from the Department of Social Services Commissioner Marie Cannon, the Director of the Homeless Alliance of Western New York, Dale Zakleski, and Kelly Dodd from 211. And of course, we're joined by Kendra Schmidt here today from Deaf Access Services, who's providing the American Sign Language. We know that one of the most important things that we can do for any family is to ensure that they have the resources necessary to stay in their home. And unfortunately, as a result of the COVID-19 outbreak, individuals who have lost jobs, who have lost income, are at risk for eviction eventually and or foreclosure of their home for failure to be able to pay their mortgage payment. We do know that evictions have basically been stopped until January 1st of 2021. But if somebody has not paid their rent, they are still at risk for being evicted at that point. And we know that individuals are still at risk for being foreclosed against their out of their home, even though they currently now cannot be foreclosed under certain rules associated with COVID-19 as implemented by the state government. And that's why we decided we needed to step up to the plate by using the CARES Act funding that Erie County received to assist families that are in need. And as a result, I do want to thank, of course, Senator Chuck Schumer, as well as Senator Kirsten Gillibrand and Congressman Brian Higgins for their strong support and advocacy for Erie County to receive the CARES Act funding that it did, and for their advocacy to allow us to use it for more than just direct county needs. It was important that we addressed the issues associated with our economy and our community, and that's why we came up after many, many weeks of working together, the group that you see here, with a program that we think will best suit the needs of those who are at risk of eviction, as well as potentially losing their home to foreclosure. We are announcing today that there will be up to $10 million available, $5 million for assistance to renters who are at risk of eviction, and $5 million to homeowners that are at risk of losing their house to foreclosure. The program will benefit many, many families in our community because it will allow household income up to 85% of the New York State median income. A lot of people, what does that mean? If you say that, it's a legitimate question. But if you have a household the size of 4, you can qualify for assistance even if your household made up to $81,549. So there are many, many families across the region who will qualify for this eviction as well as foreclosure rental assistance. I will let the others go into this in greater detail, but each of the parties that you see here has played an instrumental role in making this happen and will be playing a greater role as we go forward with regards to the implementation of the program. For example, the application period will begin on October 1st, and individuals will be requested to apply not through Erie County, not directly through the City of Buffalo, but with 211. We'll allow Kelly Dodd to talk a little bit more about how that application process will be done. To qualify, you do need to show that you had loss of income, which has put you at risk of being evicted or being foreclosed from your home as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So there's a number of restrictions that are in place, but we know that many families are at risk for eviction, Many families are at risk for foreclosure, and we want to give them an opportunity to receive assistance. The maximum benefit a household may receive, whether it is for foreclosure or eviction assistance, is $3,500. With that, I will turn it over to Mayor Brown to talk a little bit more about the program, the work that the City of Buffalo has done to assist families that are at risk of eviction or foreclosure. And I want to thank him on behalf of our team in Erie County for the work that him and his team have done to assist us in coming to where we are today so that we could announce this very important program for those people in our community who might now not have to worry about being evicted or foreclosed at this moment, but would have to worry about being evicted or foreclosed in the future when the forbearance period is ended. So, Mayor Brown.
Thank you very much, County Executive Poloncarz. It's good to be here at the legislature, April Baskin, and Erie County Clerk Michael Kearns to announce this program that will assist members of our community in not being evicted from their apartments or have their homes foreclosed on. And the county executive is right. There has been a tremendous working relationship between county staff and city staff on developing this initiative to protect members of our community. The county executive mentioned some of the county staff. I want to certainly recognize Council President Darius Pridgeon and the members of the Common Council who have been supportive of our efforts in this regard. I want to recognize Sue Lamadou, who is here representing our Commissioner of the Department of Community Services, Otis T. Barker Sr. I want to thank Sue and all of the city staff that work closely with the county staff on developing this very critical program. As County Executive Poloncarz said, right now there is a moratorium on evictions and homes being foreclosed on. That is going to be lifted at some point, and we have to be prepared in Buffalo and Erie County to provide assistance to renters and homeowners in our community for when the moratorium is lifted. Experts are forecasting a crisis of evictions and foreclosures. We can't let that happen in Buffalo and Erie County, and that is what this program is all about. Helping people pay their rents, helping people pay their mortgages, and making sure that the hardworking people of our community are not evicted or have their homes foreclosed on. Now, also, as this potential eviction and foreclosure crisis has been forecast, it also is forecasted that it is going to be particularly hard on Black and brown communities here in Buffalo and Erie County, but across the nation. I am glad that we are working together as a community to be proactive, to think through the needs of renters and homeowners in our community. We know that thousands of people have been laid off from jobs because of COVID-19. COVID-19 has had a very detrimental impact on the economy of our community, and even more so on the financial fortunes of so many members of our community that live in Buffalo and Erie County. So I am very pleased to be a part of this very important initiative. We will continue as a community in Buffalo and Erie County to do every single thing that we can to prevent members of our community from being evicted from their apartments or have their homes foreclosed on. This is a community-wide effort, and I really applaud everyone who has come together to put this program together, and we will continue to work together to protect the residents of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, and once again, your team for the work that they've done to protect families already and also to ensure that this program is one that will make a difference in our community. We are also joined by Erie Clerk Michael Mickey Kearns. Clerk Kearns has worked with the West New York Law Center for quite some time now to protect families that are at risk for foreclosure. For the last few months, we've been talking about how we needed to ensure that this type of program was in place. I want to thank Clerk Kearns for his good work in protecting families and give him the opportunity to speak here. Clerk?
I would also like to thank the county executive and his team for bringing us all together. It is important to call attention to this looming crisis, and Live Well's Erie's objectives are spot on. We could see foreclosures approaching over the horizon. They may be months away, but we learned the importance of preparation these past several months. I'm sure the county executive would join me, along with the mayor and other elected officials, in wishing the county could have had a few more months to prepare for COVID. Now we have several months to prepare for this housing crisis. We heard County Executive Poloncarz and Mayor Brown speak of a widespread effort to provide funds directly to those who need it. Funds directly to our neighbors who are worrying terribly about being removed from their homes. Seniors, families, it's important to remember that we are talking about people's home and the high stakes when they are at risk to lose it. Our homes should be the best part of each day, our sanctuary from work, conflict, and daily struggles. Everyone needs to find this peace in their day, especially during these unbearable stressful times. My office will continue to monitor all foreclosure filings and will advise the county executive's office and work with Mayor Brown and including of the majority leader when we start to see a flux of foreclosures. We are also working with the executive offices on other programs to hopefully start and stop before many of these people at need. And I would just like to say in conclusion, I want to thank the county executive, the mayor, and their teams working with us. The county clerk's office across the street from Franklin is where the foreclosure begins. And we're going to work together, and hopefully we won't be seeing as many foreclosures because of the great preparation and the funding that has been provided by the County of Erie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. An individual who has been strongly advocating for this type of assistance right now is the legislator from the 2nd District, who also happens to be the chairwoman of the Erie County Legislature. And I'll introduce Chairwoman April Baskin.
Thank you, County Executive. Greetings, everyone, to Clerk Kearns, our partner in county government, and our great Mayor, Byron Brown of the City of Buffalo. I want to start off by thanking the County Executive for working with the legislature. Me and my colleagues are very passionate about housing and making sure that the residents of Erie County have adequate housing and that their families are safe, especially during the pandemic. The Live Well Erie Emergency Task Force, thank you for working on this initiative, which is so vital to supporting our community at a time of such great need. I represent an ethnically diverse district with tremendous income disparities, and many of my constituents will benefit from this program. 6 months ago, in March 2020, the Erie County Legislature approved the county's emergency COVID fund and set aside money for responding to the pandemic. We asked Erie County departments, including the Department of Social Services, led by Commissioner Cannon, wonderful commissioner and a wonderful asset to county government, with helping residents during this unprecedented challenge, and they have responded. This is the latest of series in CARES Act funding initiatives that the county has created to help residents obtaining PPE gear, masks, with providing for funding for child care assistance, educational support, with the help of local governments, the forthcoming aid for small businesses, and now today the announcement of eviction and foreclosure assistance for renters and homeowners. When I met with the Buffalo Board of Block Clubs in spring 2019, they shared with me their concerns about housing assistance and how getting help to renters with financial problems, such as these persons experiencing underemployment or unemployment, was something that was vital. This is precisely the kind of initiative struggling residents need to stay in their homes and to try to make ends meet. This is what county governments do. They provide health and social services programs to those who need it most. I'm proud to chair the legislature and to partner with the county executive, our mayor, and the community organization standing here today who worked so hard. The team assembled here today, working together for months to develop this initiative, is so greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you may have heard the chairwoman speak, we saw the problems arising as a result of COVID-19. We did create this task force with people from across the community. It is to be co-chaired by our Commissioner of Social Services, Marie Cannon, and the Deputy Commissioner of Social Services, Karen Rybicki. They are both here. I'm going to turn it over to Marie to talk a little bit about the process of how we got to where we are today, as well as what is to be expected for those who are applying in the future so that they can receive the aid, which will not go directly to the individual, but will go to their landlord or the company that's holding their mortgage. Commissioner Cannon?
Good afternoon, everyone. We are actually very excited to be here about this announcement today because this is a culmination of the work for the last couple months. We want to say thank you to our county executive, Mark Polenkars, for his vision for Live Well Erie, where no one gets left behind. And housing was one of those goals that all of our community members would be able to have access to safe, healthy and affordable housing. He has shown himself committed as the chair of Live Well Erie. We see it also in his, not only in his words, but also in his actions in supporting older adults, young children, and working families. And we are in an unprecedented time, and such a time as this requires an unprecedented response. So it was through the Live Well Erie Emergency Housing Task Force, where we have over 40 different partners expanding every sector of our community, that came together to really take a look at. We were first thinking about the crisis that was coming forth in terms of housing and evictions. So we have been working since July on this issue. So unprecedented times requires unprecedented response. And one of the things that happened is that there was a strong collaborative approach. As you've already heard, Mayor Brown and his team has been phenomenal with really addressing the issues that our families are facing today. So it has been a three-pronged approach. Not just the finances is one of them. Some of the work that we've done, I do need to say this, I need to say thank you very much to our task force who have been leading this out, and they include our steering committee, which is Deputy County Executive Maria White, Karen Rybicki, our first Deputy Commissioner for Department of Social Services, who chairs our Finance Committee, Karen King, who's the Commissioner of Advocacy and Public Policy for Women. She chairs our Communication Subcommittee, Paul DiOrlando, and Kevin Quinn, who chairs our Advocacy and Policy Development from CELJ. So we are thankful to them. As always, we're thankful for the leadership of April Baskin, our chair of our legislative body. So the idea was we wanted to make sure that we were thinking about this very broadly, and that we actually have a three-pronged approach. The first one is eviction diversion, and that is working with the housing courts. So we're under the leadership of Grace Andrietti from Neighborhood Legal Services, the Volunteer Lawyer Project, Legal Aid Bureau, CELJ, and Home. They have been working with the city courts and the town courts as an eviction diversion program that will continue. The other piece to this was we wanted to make sure that people could have access to services very quickly and very easily. And Kelly Dodd from 211 will talk a little bit about that, but our goal really was that we would develop a centralized access point. And who led out on that is Kelly Dodd, Sue Lamadou, Karen Rybicki, and Kexon Ma from Hawney. So we wanted people to be able, they will be able to apply online, starting October 1st. This also, the portal has been built where you can upload the documentation, but if people don't have technology, because we're very aware of that, they will actually be able just to call 211, an assessment and screening will be done. And then it will go to our partner agencies to finish out that process, and then it will come to DSS for payment directly to the landlords or to the mortgage holders. So that's the process of it. We really believe the centralized access point is very important for people. The third prong is actually the financial support that has just been announced, the up to $10 million in the CARES Act funding, both from the Erie County and Buffalo CARES Act funding, because we needed people to help with eviction diversion, centralized access, and then you need funding to help people not be evicted or stay in their housing. So we are very delighted, and I'm just appreciative and grateful to the work that has been done across this community. In this pandemic, one of the silver linings have been a true collaborative approach to all the issues that face our community. And we have seen a commitment from every level of county government, city government, local government. We have town boards a part of our Live Well Area Emergency Housing Task Force. We have foundations, we have universities, we have financial institutions who help guide where we are and where we will continue to go. So with that, we're just excited about being able to support our community in such a time as this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Cannon. As we've all said, we can't do these types of programs without the support of others in the community, including our partner agencies who work very hard on these issues every day. One of those is the Homeless Alliance of Western New York, and we're pleased to be joined by its Executive Director, Dale Zakleski, to talk more about what he expects this to see and the impact he thinks it'll have on our community. Dale?
First of all, I've got to give most of the credit, if not all the credit, at least from the Homeless Alliance's staff, to Kex and Ma, who everyone knows she did a bulk of the work. I just get to come to the press conferences. But this is a really impressive collaborative that was taking place behind the scenes for months. And I've got to thank the county, the city, especially Marie Cannon, for leading this effort. The safest place for someone to be during a pandemic is in their home. Once you lose your housing, you don't have to go into a homeless shelter. You normally stay with family and friends and you live in overcrowded situations. When that happens, you're more susceptible to spreading that virus to more people. And then once you wear out your welcome with your family and friends, that's when you're most at risk of ending up in a homeless shelter. And this is a proactive approach. This is actually getting to family and help families and individuals before they become homeless and before they get evicted, which is so important because it's so stressful, especially when there are young kids involved. There will be more assistance coming after this funds once the eviction moratorium is lifted, because there is a pending crisis coming. We don't serve clients directly, but our phones are ringing off the hook already from people that are looking for assistance. The mayor and the county executive previously announced their funding for emergency solutions grant funds, which is more direct homeless prevention and those assisting those who are directly homeless. Once these funds are allocated, then those funds can kick in. So this isn't the end all be all. And there was that cooperation between the city and the county over those funds too, including the town of Tonawanda and actually through the 5 counties of Western New York. It's been a phenomenal effort and I'm proud to be part of this. And there's so many people out here that they should be up here taking the credit for it, and I feel a little humbled to be able to do that. But there is more money coming, and this is. And I worked in government for 32 years, and it's really proactive. And this is one of those proactive approaches of seeing a pending crisis coming and acting upon it before it actually hits. And you're going to impact a lot of lives. And there are a lot of people out there that need help right now, so you should congratulate yourself.
Thank you, Dale, for those kind words. And finally, we have Kelly Dodd from 211 Western New York. 211, as the commissioner noted, will be playing an active role and assisting individuals who cannot apply online for the assistance. Was noted by Director Zakleski. There are other funding streams that are being used to assist people who are in need so they do not lose their home. But this is the largest one that we know will send a message out to the community that we want you to contact us. We want you to reach out to us so that you can get the assistance that we are providing to the general community, and there may be other funding streams there that can help you as well. And 211 is going to be an active partner in explaining that process to the public. So Kelly, may please, podium's yours.
Thank you, County Executive. Thank you to the City of Buffalo and Erie County for recognizing the utility of 211 as a centralized intake point for this rental and mortgage assistance program. For those of you that don't know, 211 is a 3-digit phone number that connects people to services in the community. It's available all across New York State, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What this means is that not only can we help community members get connected to rental assistance and mortgage assistance, we can also help them with food insecurity, childcare, tax payments, and tax preparation, and also help for the holidays. So we want everyone to know that they can call 211 24/7 to find help in their community. For this program, we'll start accepting applications on October 1st. Folks can call starting October 1st to make their application for the rental and mortgage assistance program, and they can also apply online from our website, 211wny.org. Now, we do have $10 million, so there isn't a rush. Not everyone needs to call on the first day and overwhelm the phone systems. I think we're all familiar with what happened with the unemployment benefits. So let folks know that they can call anytime, 24/7, call 211. We do use language line for translation services, so folks don't need to worry about having their child translate for them or anything like that. They can call us and we can talk to them directly. I'd like to thank our case management partners, Buffalo Urban League, Catholic Charities, and Restoration Society. They will be doing all of the documentation review. So households that do apply will have the opportunity to submit their documents online, both if they call and if they apply online, so that the case management agencies have an opportunity to review the documentation before they even go for their appointment. When folks call, we will also set them up with their initial intake appointment so that they can keep the process moving forward. Those that apply online will be contacted, or if they provide a preference, we will schedule that appointment for them, again, so that they can keep that process moving forward. We're really excited to be a part of this and are looking forward to help. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. As noted, this is truly a community effort with multiple organizations participating along with the City of Buffalo and Erie County. Once again, I want to thank our partners in federal government who made the CARES Act funding available, starting with Senator Schumer and Gillibrand, as well as our local representative, Brian Higgins, who's been a strong supporter of not only the original CARES Act, but the second level to assist both cities, counties, of course, as well as towns, cities, smaller cities and villages who did not receive CARES Act funding in the first round. We'll call questions related to this here. We'll start, if you have any particular questions for Mayor Brown, I'd ask that you ask them first because I know he has to go for a meeting. So are there any particular questions for the mayor? Hearing none. Mayor? Thank you for being here, Mayor Brown. Thank you for being here and all the team's work. Are there any particular questions on this subject matter that you would like to ask of any other remaining folks? The question was, you need to emphasize that people still have to pay their rent, even though there's an eviction moratorium, and the answer is yes. What we're very fearful of is, even though the eviction moratorium has been basically extended to January 1st of 2021, is that if it's not extended and you haven't paid your rent, then the landlords have the ability to evict you. So just not paying it for the last could potentially be 8 to 9 months will not be justification because the moratorium was in place. So we want folks to understand that you still have an obligation to pay your rent. What this program will do is it'll not only help you pay your rent or your mortgage during that period, but there'll also be an agreement that the landlords and the mortgage companies cannot evict you or foreclose you for that period that was repaid as a result of this assistance. But you do have an obligation to still pay your rent. So if there are individuals out there who think, hey, I'm great, I don't have to pay the rent, and I'll be in my home forever, that's not the case. So we want people to understand that they still have to pay the rent, and that's why we're coming up with this program to assist individuals meet the need that they might not be able to do otherwise. Anybody else like to answer?
I would just add, because this is CARES Act funding, it also is that the reason why they can't pay their rent is COVID related. So as the county executive said, absolutely continue to pay your rent if you have it, but you will have to be able to document that the reason why you can't pay your rent is because of the pandemic. Losing hours, being furloughed, being laid off, your job closed down.
One thing I want to note that I don't think any of our speakers noted is because the CARES Act funding has to be spent by the end of the year. This is not continuing when the application process starts October 1st, but we really want to have money out the door starting in November. And the program basically locked up in December because we have to account for how much money that goes out. So if somebody applies very late, they may not qualify, they may not get it because we have to spend the money by a particular timeline. And if we do not, if the money is not spent by the end of this year, we have to return whatever is unspent to the federal government. So if you decide on December 15th, oh, I'm going to apply for this now, it's going to be too late. It's very important that people apply for it as soon as the application process begins later this week. Any other questions on this topic? If not, thank you everyone, and we'll take off topic to the side.